Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to make these dramatic statement earrings featuring a very long silk tassel and a Swarovski BeCharmed pearl bead. So we're seeing this trend. It's very popular, these long, wonderful tassel earrings, and I wanted to show you how to make them. Now this is going to be the length of the tassel I'm going to be using for this project and making, but you can make this even longer if you want, or shorter. So what you're going to need, well, the focal point, the main color here is going to be your silk tassel, and we're going to be using silk thread. So this is size F, it's 100% pure silk, and we're going to be using a lot of it, which is nice because this comes on a 140-yard spool, so you can definitely make wonderful long earrings. And then we're going to be using TierraCast cord ends, so that's what you see here. It has this well that we're going to be gluing our tassel into. We're going to use these bead aligners from TierraCast to help stabilize our large hole bead. And like I said, we're going to be using two of these large hole beads. I'm going to make one earring here though for the purpose of the video. And then for the findings, I'm using a Beadaholique finding kit. Now what's nice about this is it comes with earring hooks, head pins, eye pins, as well as jump rings. And for this project, we are going to be using the earring hooks, the eye pins, as well as the jump rings. And here's actually a few pieces out of a kit I've been using for quite a while. So you actually get more than this. This is what's left from what I've been using for multiple projects. And then for tools and other supplies, you are going to need some glue. I'm going to be using E6000 glue, a pad of little pieces of paper, a toothpick, a pair of scissors, a tweezer. I'm going to be using a wire looping plier. You'll see how to use that in just a minute. You could also use a round nose, a pair of cutters, and 2 pairs of chain nose pliers to open and close those jump rings. So let's go ahead and actually start making. Well, I pulled out just a sampling of colors here, and you can see what I've got. There are more colors available, but what I always think is fun to do is to take one of these pearls and hold them up against the different colors and kind of play with your color combos, because you can see how pretty they would look. I have pre-selected already the one I do want to do, and I want to do this one here. Now this is Scarabaeus green, and we're going to do it with the green silk, so really nice and dramatic and perfect for a spring summer party or evening. So to make our tassel first, let me just clear out some of this stuff because I am going to be unwinding a lot of silk. Now I have shown this method in a different video. I am going to be using just the simple little cardboard cutout method, and this I have cut out of a box, and I have done it to the size of the tassel I want. So it's just a little bit bigger than the tassel length, and that's what you're going to want. I do recommend choosing your size, cutting your size appropriately. This is going to use a lot of thread. This is a nice, thick, luxurious tassel. Don't have a piece of cardboard this big that you intend to cut your tassel silk down to here. So just kind of take note of how big this is, and it's just out of a shipping box, so don't worry if you have to cut several of these. So go ahead and unwind some of your silk thread. Okay. Find the end, and we're just going to hold it against our cardboard. Now I am going to do 55 wraps. So I'm going to start counting, and then I'll unspool more thread as I need to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Okay, so the reason I counted is because you're making a pair of earrings, and you're going to want them to be the same thickness, so that they hang right and they look right on your ear. So I've done my 55 wraps. I'm just going to cut my silk. And now I'm going to cut another little bit of silk off because I need to tie this. So there we go. And this is where my tweezer comes in handy. I'm going to pick up the end of the silk, and I'm just going to snake it underneath all my wrappings. Pull it up towards the top, and I can actually set this down. And I'm going to tie this in a knot and bring everything together. So that's all we need to do for that right now. So now we're going to cut off another little bit of silk. And you see I still have a lot of silk left. I'll definitely be able to do multiple projects with it. Now I like cardboard because I can bend it to get this off, which is nice. So I'm just going to slide it off and hold it like so. And then I want to find where my cord was that I tied it. Okay, so I got my cord ends, and I can actually hold it. So I can hold it just like that, and I want to fold it in half and smooth it down, and now I want to wrap it. So I'm going to take my other cut piece, and at this point, if I want to, I can just cut these guys off, and I want to secure it. So I'm doing it fairly close up to the top because I want this to be totally hidden within my cord end. So I'm just going to do a couple wraps. And now I'm going to bring back my tweezers because it's just a little bit easier for me to control what's happening with the pair of tweezers. It's almost like having a nice extension to your hand. Okay, I do want to knot this. And this is all going to disappear up inside that bead cap. So don't worry if it doesn't look quite the way you like. But you can see what that looks like. Now, we could have done a jump ring in place of this tie. If you were not going to set it into something that you were going to glue it in, you could have just done a jump ring, and that would have worked great too. All right, so now we've got this part, and I'm going to trim these guys a little shorter. And you have a choice. You can either leave these nice and long and let them be part of your tassel, or you could trim them. I'm going to just let them be nice and long. And we're going to now glue this into our cord end. We're going to take that glue and we're going to put it into the well, especially up at the top and around the sides. So if you can see, I'm really just trying to smear it into the sides and up at the top. Then take your tassel and just put them in there. And then what I want you to do is go like this. Just push him a little bit so that he kind of fills out once he's in that tassel. And you could have made this thicker for sure, but I think this is a really nice thickness for a tassel here. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry before we trim it. And the reason I didn't trim it first is because I am doing this little scrunching technique. And on these guys, I trimmed them first and then I scrunched it. And that resulted in them being a little bit uneven and I had to re-trim them. So that is my reasoning for not trimming first. Okay, so he is set down in there. And we are just going to let that little guy be while we go on to our next step. So I am going to be using the Swarovski BeCharmed Swarovski pearl. It's got that really pretty shimmery effect. And I also want to use an eye pin. So onto the eye pin, I'm going to take one of my bead aligners with the little alignment portion facing up. And then I do want that to go right into the pearl. And then another bead aligner with the alignment portion facing down. And this does have a silver core. All of these BeCharmed beads do have a silver core. I think it looks totally fine though with the gold findings. You don't see it that much. So now we're going to go ahead and take our wire looping pliers and grab it right where it exits that pearl. And we're just going to go like so. So we bent it halfway over, rotate those pliers up to the top, pull that around so it crisscrosses, and then on this side we do want to do a couple wraps. And I just recommend doing that instead of making a simple loop because you want this to be really solid and tight with those bead aligners. If you did a simple loop, it might be a little bit challenging to get it to stay completely stable. So once you've done a couple loops, take your cutters, trim it, and if you have any pokey ends, you can tuck them in. And just line up your loops. And now for the one part of it, we are going to do an earring hook. Okay, so it's just going to be like so. Right, now we are going to take our larger jump rings. So in this assortment pack, you get two sizes of jump rings. You get a 4mm and a 6mm, which is why I chose it to use it for this project because I want that 6mm jump ring. Okay, so at this point, now, if I was doing this at home, I would let this dry quite a bit longer. So I'm going to be a little bit careful with it. I would let it dry, at least a good hour before you trim it. Okay, so I'm just going to hold on to it. And I want to just try to smooth it down. And this has this wonderful little curl to it. And then I'm going to trying to be a little careful because I know that's not totally solid in there glued right now because it hasn't had time to dry. Okay, I'm going to trim the tips. You can just cut it like this, or you can cut it like this. Okay. Move all of these guys out of the way. Okay. And then see what you've got. You can always go back and trim some more. And you'll just keep working at it until you have a nice straight line. And then once you've got that trimmed, you're going to take this jump ring, and it's an open jump ring, meaning it is not completely soldered. It does have a little slit in it. You grab it on either side and you twist open, and then we are going to put it through this loop, and we're going to put it through that little loop at the base of your pearl, and we're just going to close it on up. And we have a finished earring. And like I said, I would probably keep trimming this, and I would really wait till that's dry and tug on it a little bit more than I am right now. But there we go. So we have a green one done in gold to now match these really pretty maroon ones we have with this iridescent red pearl. So a lot of possibilities, a lot of combinations. Have fun with the silk colors, have fun with the lengths. I really have seen these even longer where they're dusting quite a bit below the shoulders, very dramatic. So a lot you can do with them, and just a fun accessory for spring and summer. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please do check out our other ones at Beadaholique.com. We've got a lot of other tassel tutorials as well as other statement earring ones. Thanks for watching.